Hello everyone, and welcome to History of the Ancient World. Today, we're journeying back in time to an era of unparalleled power, ambition, and drama. We're diving deep into the heart of the Roman Empire to explore the lives of the men who sat on its throne, the Roman emperors, from the golden age of Augustus to the chaotic reigns of the crisis of the 3rd century. These rulers shaped the course of Western civilization. They were statesmen, warriors, builders, and sometimes tyrants. Their stories are a captivating mix of political genius, military conquest, personal scandal, and profound legacy. So grab your virtual toga, because we're about to unravel the epic tale of Rome's most powerful men. Let's begin where it all started, with the man who ended the Roman Republic and became its first emperor, Augustus. Born Gaius Octavius, he was the grandnephew and adopted son of Julius Caesar. After Caesar's assassination, a bloody power struggle ensued. Octavian, though young, proved to be a master strategist and politician. He formed the second triumvirate with Mark Antony and Lepidus, avenged Caesar's death, and then methodically outmaneuvered his rivals. His final victory against Antony and Cleopatra at the Battle of Actium left him as the undisputed ruler of the Roman world. But he was clever. He knew Romans were wary of kings, so he didn't call himself a king. He took the title Princeps, meaning first citizen, and carefully maintained the illusion of the Republic. He famously said, "I found Rome a city of brick and left it a city of marble." He ushered in the Pax Romana, 2 centuries of relative peace and prosperity. He reformed the military, established a permanent navy, and created a professional civil service. Augustus wasn't just a conqueror. He was a nation builder who laid the foundation for an empire that would last for centuries. After Augustus came the Julio-Claudian dynasty, a line of emperors that reads like a Shakespearean tragedy. His stepson Tiberius was a capable but gloomy and paranoid ruler who spent his final years in self-imposed exile. Then came Caligula, whose name has become synonymous with madness. He's remembered for his eccentric and cruel behavior, like appointing his horse as a consul, though historians now debate the accuracy of these tales. He was assassinated by his own Praetorian Guard, a powerful precedent for things to come. He was followed by his uncle Claudius, often underestimated due to his physical ailments and stammer. But Claudius proved to be a surprisingly effective emperor. He oversaw the conquest of Britain, invested heavily in public works like aqueducts and canals, and reformed the legal system. He was a scholar and an administrator. The dynasty ended with Nero, an emperor who started his reign with promise but descended into tyranny and excess. He fancied himself an artist and a performer, which scandalized the Roman elite. While the story of him fiddling while Rome burned is likely a myth, his persecution of Christians and the vast resources he spent on his golden palace made him deeply unpopular. Facing rebellion, he took his own life, uttering the famous last words, "What an artist dies in me." The year after Nero's death, 69 AD, is known as the Year of the 4 Emperors. It was a brutal, chaotic civil war where 4 generals, Galba, Otho, Vitellius, and finally Vespasian, vied for the throne. Vespasian's victory marked the beginning of the Flavian dynasty. Vespasian was a practical, down-to-earth soldier from a humble background. He restored stability and financial order after the chaos of Nero's reign. His most famous project? The Flavian Amphitheatre, better known to us as the Colosseum. It was a massive entertainment venue for the Roman people, funded by the spoils of the Jewish-Roman War. Vespasian was succeeded by his 2 sons, Titus and Domitian. Titus was popular, known for his generosity, especially after the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD, which buried Pompeii and Herculaneum. His reign was short, but he was deified as a good emperor. His brother Domitian was a different story. He was an efficient but autocratic ruler who demanded to be addressed as Dominus et Deus, Master and God. He ruled with an iron fist, alienating the Senate and relying on a network of informants. He was eventually assassinated in a palace conspiracy, ending the Flavian line. This assassination paved the way for what many historians consider the golden age of the Roman Empire, the era of the 5 good emperors. This period, from 96 to 180 AD, was marked by a unique succession system. Instead of inheriting the throne, each emperor adopted a capable and respected man as his heir. This ensured a line of competent rulers. It began with Nerva, an elderly senator chosen to restore order. He adopted the powerful general Trajan. Trajan was a phenomenal military leader. Under his rule, the Roman Empire reached its greatest territorial extent, stretching from Britain to Mesopotamia. He was also a great builder, responsible for Trajan's market and Trajan's column in Rome. He was beloved, earning the title Optimus Princeps, the best ruler. Trajan adopted Hadrian, a complex and cultured man. Hadrian was a consolidator, not a conqueror. He traveled extensively throughout the empire, strengthening its frontiers. His most famous legacy is Hadrian's Wall in northern Britain, a massive fortification marking the edge of the Roman world. He was a great admirer of Greek culture and a patron of the arts and architecture, commissioning the Pantheon as we know it today. Hadrian adopted Antoninus Pius, whose reign was so peaceful and prosperous that it's almost uneventful from a historical perspective, which is the highest compliment you can give an emperor. He ruled justly and managed the empire's finances wisely. Antoninus, in turn, adopted 2 heirs, Marcus Aurelius and Lucius Verus, who ruled as co-emperors. Lucius Verus handled military campaigns in the east, while Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, governed Rome. Marcus is famous for his personal writings, known as the Meditations, a masterpiece of Stoic philosophy. Despite his philosophical nature, his reign was plagued by constant warfare on the frontiers and a devastating plague that swept through the empire. In a fateful decision that broke the tradition of the 5 good emperors, Marcus Aurelius did not adopt a successor. Instead, he made his own son, Commodus, his heir. Commodus was the opposite of his father, vain, cruel, and obsessed with gladiatorial combat. He saw himself as the reincarnation of Hercules. He neglected the duties of state, and his reign descended into paranoia and terror. His assassination in 192 AD plunged the empire back into civil war, ending the long period of peace and stability. The chaos that followed Commodus's death led to the rise of the Severan dynasty, founded by Septimius Severus, a general from North Africa. He was a military man through and through. His advice to his sons was simple: enrich the soldiers and scorn all other men. This philosophy highlights a major shift in the empire. Power was now openly based on the loyalty of the army, not the Senate or the people. The Severan dynasty saw rulers like Caracalla, who is infamous for murdering his own brother to secure the throne, but also for granting Roman citizenship to all free inhabitants of the empire with the Antonine Constitution. The dynasty was marked by military rule, assassinations, and the growing influence of powerful women like Julia Domna, Septimius's wife. The eventual collapse of the Severan dynasty in 235 AD triggered one of the darkest periods in Roman history, the crisis of the 3rd century. For 50 years, the empire was torn apart by civil war, foreign invasions, plague, and economic collapse. Dozens of so-called barracks emperors, generals proclaimed emperor by their troops, rose and fell in rapid succession. The empire nearly disintegrated completely. Salvation came in the form of a series of strong military emperors, most notably Diocletian. Ascending to the throne in 284 AD, Diocletian realized the empire was too large and complex for one man to rule alone. He instituted a radical reform, the Tetrarchy, or Rule of Four. He divided the empire into an eastern and western half, each with a senior emperor, an Augustus, and a junior emperor, a Caesar. This system was designed to provide for stable succession and better management of the vast territory. Diocletian also enacted major economic and administrative reforms to stabilize the empire and curb inflation. However, his reign is also remembered for the Great Persecution, the most severe and systematic persecution of Christians in Roman history. The Tetrarchy ultimately failed to prevent civil war after Diocletian's retirement, but his reforms laid the groundwork for the later Byzantine Empire. The power vacuum was eventually filled by one of history's most pivotal figures, Constantine the Great. Constantine emerged victorious from the civil wars of the Tetrarchy. According to tradition, on the eve of a decisive battle, he saw a vision of a Christian symbol in the sky with the words, "In this sign you will conquer." He had his soldiers paint the symbol on their shields, and he won the battle. This event marked the beginning of his conversion to Christianity. In 313 AD, he issued the Edict of Milan, which granted religious tolerance throughout the empire, effectively ending the persecution of Christians. He didn't just tolerate Christianity, he actively promoted it. He moved the capital of the empire from Rome to a new city he built on the site of the ancient Greek city of Byzantium. He named it Constantinople, the city of Constantine. This move shifted the empire's center of gravity to the east and laid the foundation for the Byzantine Empire, which would survive for another 1,000 years after the fall of the West. Constantine's reign fundamentally changed the Roman world, setting it on a new course. The story of the Roman emperors is a vast and intricate tapestry, woven with threads of glory and ruin, genius and madness. From Augustus's clever creation of the Principate to Constantine's embrace of a new faith and a new capital, these men weren't just rulers, they were the architects of an empire that continues to influence our laws, our language, our architecture, and our very idea of government. Their legacy is all around us. The challenges they faced, managing a diverse population, securing borders, dealing with economic crises, are surprisingly relevant even today. Their lives serve as timeless lessons in power, leadership, and the fragile nature of civilization. The story doesn't end here, of course. The Western Empire would eventually fall, while the Eastern Empire would flourish for centuries. But that's a tale for another time. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey through the history of the Roman emperors. I hope you found it as fascinating as I do. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to History of the Ancient World for more deep dives into the stories that shaped our past. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next adventure. Let us know in the comments which emperor you find most interesting. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.